Sharp. When you want to like this. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please take your seats for the start of our ceremony. Scouts, Scouters, and friends of Scouting, my name is Seth Peterson, and I would like to welcome you to this Eagle Court of Honor. This is an occasion for pride and joy, as well as a time for a serious reflection. The Eagle is the highest recognition that Boy Scouts of America offers to Scouts. It is earned through the advancement program, with less than 6% of boys who begin in Scouting receiving this honor. A Scout must devote a great deal of time and effort to earn the rank of Eagle Scout, and I am pleased to serve as Masters of Ceremony as we honor Nathaniel Peyer for climbing Eagle Mountain. Before we begin our program, I'd like to remind you that there will be a light reception honoring our new Eagle immediately following the ceremony. Now please rise for the invocation, presented by Pastor James Kirk, pastor here at Emmanuel. Then please remain standing for the presentation of the colors.
Good afternoon. Gracious God, we stand before you this day in awe of your magnificent glory. We thank you for bringing us together, gathered to celebrate the accomplishments of Nathaniel in attaining the rank of Eagle. We ask that you would bless Nathaniel, his family, and the scouts, leaders, and guests who are assembled here. And Father, we ask for your continued guidance for all the scouts of Troop 127. Give our leaders, we pray, the patience and wisdom to guide each scout on life's pathway. We thank you for hearing our prayer this day, for we offer it in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Kirk. We will now continue our opening with the presentation of colors. Scouts and Scouters in uniforms and all veterans may salute the flag. All others, place your right hand over your heart as we present the colors. Color guard attention. Color guard advance. Scout salute. Prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. 2. Will Mark Fisher please come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mark. When a boy becomes a Boy Scout, there is within him something that is called the spirit of scouting. This single lighted candle before you represents that spirit. Because the spirit of scouting embodies the principles of the Scout oath and law, it becomes a shining beacon of inspiration. Alone, this light may seem feeble, but when multiplied by the millions of boys in Scouting around the world, it is powerful indeed. Scouts around the world take the oath and follow a law to guide them and build their character. The words vary from country to country. What follows is the oath and law of the Boy Scouts of America. Can we have Andrew and Chip the video for the Scout oath?
On my honor.
Meaning your solemn promise, a promise that relies on your good reputation as to whether or not it will be carried out.
I will do my best.
Your best. What is it? It's giving it all you've got when you've got something to do, and working on it with all your heart and soul and mind, all the strength and devotion you've got.
To do my duty.
To do the job, to meet the responsibilities, to do what has to be done, not just halfway, not just half a job. but completely and fully, so that you're proud of your work.
To God and my country.
Duty to whom? First, to God. Fulfill your religious responsibilities. Uphold your religious beliefs. Second, to your country. I know you've been told how lucky you are to live in a free country. I hope that you are aware of it. Being told and being aware are two different things.
To obey the Scout law.
Meaning to obey it. Follow it completely, not just halfway and not just the first 6 points or the last 3 or every other one, but all 12 points at all times.
To help other people at all times.
To help, it doesn't say much. It could mean saving a life or changing a tire or carrying a bag of groceries. To help other people, not just your family and at all times, not just when it's convenient.
To keep myself physically strong.
Just what it says, physically strong, ready to defend yourself, your scouting principles, your country.
Mentally awake.
Keep alert, observing, always trying to learn.
And morally straight.
In thought and actions, decide what is right and what is wrong, and stand by the right.
Thank you. So there you have it. And the next time you recite the Scout Oath, don't just say it as something you've memorized, but say it as something you mean. Academy Award-winning actor John Wayne, a Scout in his youth and a strong supporter of Scouting in adulthood, gave this explanation of the Boy Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Nice words. Trouble is, we learn them so young, we sometimes don't get all the understanding that goes with them. I take care of that in my family. As each Boy Scout reaches Scout age, I make sure he learns the Scout law. Then I break it down for him with a few things I picked up in the more than half a century since I learned it. Will Nolan Ranieri and Dan Ranieri please lead us in the Scout law?
A Scout is trustworthy.
The badge of honesty. Having it lets you look a man straight in the eye. Lacking it, he won't look back. Keep it at the top of your list.
A Scout is loyal.
The very word of its life itself. For without loyalty, we have no love of person or country.
A Scout is helpful.
Part sharing, part caring. By helping each other, we help observe, not to mention mankind. Be always helpful of help, the dying man's last words.
A Scout is friendly.
Brotherhood is part of the word. You can take it in a lot of directions, and do but make sure and start with brotherhood.
A Scout is courteous.
Allow each person his human dignity, which means a lot more than saying yes ma'am or thank you sir. It reflects an attitude that later in life you wish you had honored more earlier in your life. Save yourself that problem. Do it now.
A Scout is kind.
The one word that would stop wars and erase hatred. But it's like your bicycle. It's just no good unless you get out and use it.
A Scout is obedient.
Start at home, practice it on your family, enlarge it to your friends, share it with humanity.
A Scout is cheerful.
Anyone can put on a happy face when the going's good. The secret is to wear it as a mask for your problems. It might surprise you how many others do the same thing.
A Scout is thrifty.
Means a lot more than putting pennies away, and is the opposite of cheap. Common sense covers it just about as well as anything.
A Scout is brave.
You don't have to fight to be brave. Millions of good, fine, decent folks show bravery than heavyweight champions just by getting out of bed every morning, going out and doing a good day's work, and living the best life they know how against a lot of odds. Brave, keep the word handy every day of your life.
A Scout is clean.
Soap and water help a lot on the outside, but it's the inside that counts, and don't you ever forget it.
A Scout is reverent.
Believe in anything you want to believe in, but keep God at the top of it. With Him, life can be a beautiful experience. Without Him, you're just biding time.
Thank you. Will the Eagle Honor Guard please escort the candidate forward? Mr. Menard, an Eagle Scout himself, will introduce the challenge of becoming an Eagle Scout through the legend of Eagle Mountain. Color guard dismissed.
Everyone can see it. Be seated. The legend of Eagle Mountain. Early one morning, a young boy stood at a trailhead. Before him rose a mighty mountain, which seemed all the mightier when compared with his smallness. A trail led to the mountain and then up to its incredible heights before vanishing in the clouds. On this trail, the boy could see other boys and young men, some of whom turned and beckoned him to follow. The boy began to climb, refusing perhaps to believe that he could ever reach the top. At first, the trail rose gently, and the boy had many companions. But soon he began to sweat and breathe heavily, and many of his companions turned away, and still the boy climbed. At times he climbed quickly. At times he climbed slowly. At times he had to go down a little further to find another path or stop a while to catch his breath. But still he climbed. The trail became steeper, the air thinner, but the climber scarcely noticed, for he had, along the way, become stronger of body and hardier of spirit. And still he climbed. And finally, in the cool peace of evening time, he stood alone at the top of the world and looked around him. To the left, he saw a fiery golden sunset. To the right, he saw a diamond-studded, silky black night sky. Behind him, he saw the trail that he had followed and the hikers who were following in his footsteps. And in front of him, he saw another mountain, and another, and another, and a whole procession of mountains marching off in the horizon. But the young man, for now he was a man, knew that none of these other mountains was insurmountable, that all could and would be climbed, for he had learned many skills in the climbing of the first mountain, and he would carry those skills with him long after his mountain was forgotten. And besides, he could begin climbing the next mountain tomorrow. Tonight, he would rest and celebrate and ponder the journey that he had completed. And so today, we pause to rest, celebrate, and honor this fine young man, Eagle Scout Nate. I'll stick with Nate instead of the full name. As he stands at the top of the world and looks around him, prepared to climb his next mountain. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Menard. Mr. Winecki will share with us the requirements of an Eagle Scout.
So what can an Eagle do? So what can an Eagle Scout do? Let's take a look at some of the things he has done in preparing to be an Eagle Scout. In terms of badges, he has earned the Scout Badge and the ranks of Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, Star, Life, and finally, Eagle. Along the way, he earned leadership positions. He earned 14 required merit badges and at least 7 elective merit badges, served in the troop leadership positions for at least 16 months, spent at least 13 hours on service projects, not including the many hours he spent on his own Eagle Scout service project. In all, he has completed approximately 325 different requirements. So what have these requirements taught him? Who is the Eagle Scout? First and foremost, he is an outdoorsman. He knows how to camp, swim, hike, use wood tools, build a fire, use a camp stove, and find his way with map and compass. He spent at least 20 days and nights camping out in a tent on a site he selected. Many of those times he planned his own menu and cooked his own food. The Eagle Scout is comfortable with nature. He can identify local animals and plants, including poisonous plants. He understands the causes of water, land, and air pollution and developed a project to solve an environmental problem. He embodies the Scout motto, "Be prepared." He knows how to treat fractures, head injuries, hypothermia, convulsions, frostbite, burns, abdominal pain, muscle cramps, even knocked out teeth. He knows what to do in case of fire, explosion, motor vehicle accident, mountain accident, food poisoning, gas leak, earthquake, flood, tornado, hurricane, atomic emergency, and avalanche. The Eagle Scout is a good citizen. He knows how a city government is organized. He has learned who his U.S. senators and representatives are and has written a letter to one of them about a national issue. He's read the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. He knows how to manage his money and understands the risks and benefits of putting his money in savings bonds, mutual funds, common stock, and real estate. He has set financial goals and worked towards achieving those goals. The Eagle Scout has also set and worked towards fitness goals. He's competed against himself in tests of aerobic endurance, flexibility, and muscular strength. He knows what it means to be physically, mentally, and socially fit. He's a good family member. He knows what things are important to the members of his family and has talked to his family about finances, drug abuse, and growing up. All of these things he did to earn the merit badges required for Eagle. Beyond those, he earned at least 7 elective merit badges, which introduced him to such subjects as engineering, digital technology, electronics, composite materials, weather, electricity, aviation, cycling, and nuclear science. Eagle Scout candidate Nathaniel, you are to be congratulated for reaching the highest peak of the Eagle Trail. Your diligence and hard work have paid off.
Thank you, Mr. Winecki. Would our former Scoutmaster, Mr. Redmond, please come forward and tell us about Nate's scouting history?
All right, thank you, Seth. All right, there's a lot of detail. Nathaniel's had a busy career as a scout and a lot of accomplishments. He started his scouting career with Pack 194 in Crystal Lake, which he joined as a Tiger in 2012. And as he grew, the uniforms and brag vest began to tell a story of a dedicated and enthusiastic scout. He embraced the myriad of opportunities. There's a lot of big words in this one. But particularly enjoyed the Pinewood Derby. Twice he was named top design in the pack. Did you have them on display? They're out there? I missed them. Anyway, he, he won the award for top design on 2 occasions for his vehicles, incorporating working LEDs, which apparently was a predictor of his career choice in electrical engineering. Over his 5 years in Cub Scouts, he earned each of the 6 ranks, ultimately earning his Arrow of Light. He amassed 15 belt loops and 10 pins. He was awarded the Outdoor Activity Award and National Summertime Award 4 times each. Like I said, very busy. The World Conservation Award, a STEM Nova Award, Shooting Sports Award, and participated in over 75 pack outings and activities, attended 5 summer day camps, and Woods of Webelos twice. When asked at his blue and gold ceremony what his favorite memory of Cub Scouting was, without hesitation, he said, camping with my dad. And I do remember actually being at that blue and gold. When it came time to move up to Boy Scouts, Nate had looked at a number of troops, 3 troops, but visited Troop 127 for a Dutch oven cook-off and decided that was the troop for him. So on February 12, 2017, he became a member of Troop 127. He embraced Boy Scouting with the same vigor that he had Cub Scouting, with a little trepidation. He attended his first summer camp at Camp Nap 1 and earned his first few merit badges. From there, he moved quickly, earned his ranks very quickly, through the ranks of Scout, Tenderfoot, and Second Class, and by the following year, he was attending a second summer camp with the rank of First Class. By the following January, he had earned the rank of Star, and on August 26, 2019, he earned the rank of Life. Then on that, climb to Eagle Mountain, he hit a bit of a plateau. The global pandemic came around and was a bit of a delay in his progress, but he persevered and earned his Eagle on November 28, 2023. Along the way, Nate has earned 36 merit badges, which earns him 3 palms, bronze, gold, and silver. He's earned 2 STEM Nova Awards, Shoot and Start Your Engines, and 3 National Outdoor Awards for camping, hiking, and riding, which I think is the most I've seen in this troop in quite a while. Nate has been active in the troop and taken part in a wide variety of outings and activities with over 75 nights of camping, over 250 miles of hiking and backpacking, and over 90 hours of community service within the troop. And I assume not including your Eagle project, which was probably way more than that. Nate attended the trial winter session of National Youth Leadership Training in January 2019-2020. And his patrol was awarded the Spirit Award by the camp leadership team. He was elected by his peers within the troop to the Order of the Arrow in April of 2019 and completed his ordeal in August of that year. Nate has held a number of leadership positions in the troop, pretty much for his whole scouting career. He started as an assistant patrol leader, has been a patrol leader 3 times, scribe 3 times, troop guide, webmaster, senior patrol leader, and most recently a junior assistant scoutmaster. Nate was first elected senior patrol leader in November of 2019 and was very instrumental in leading the troop through the pandemic, staying on for an extra term as we probably didn't even have elections for a little while there, but helped us pull through that, and I think the troop came out even stronger. Nate has attended 3 summer camps, Napa and Canyon Camp in Makajuan, and 3 high adventure outings, the Ice Age Trail, Philmont, and Porcupine Mountain backpacking. The high adventure trips comprise some of Nate's fondest memories. His first high adventure trek was nearly canceled due to a derecho storm. Is that correct? Okay. I remember the storm. I didn't know that's what it was called, which devastated the Makajuan base just before we arrived there. But thanks to some creative scouters, a modified version of the trek was devised, and we had a very nice time out there on the Ice Age Trail. Nate's second high adventure trek to Philmont was also almost delayed, again due to the COVID pandemic, but thankfully relaxed regulations came in just in time, and the group was able to participate in what Nate calls the best experience of his scouting career, as it often is. But Nate's third high adventure trek, which was originally planned to be Isle Royale, but ended up being rescheduled to Porcupine Mountains, also apparently weathered a storm with a tornado warning, hail, and I don't know if it was because of the storm, but there were a lot of biting insects apparently. But it was still a highlight of his scouting career, or maybe even because of that. Perhaps the greatest accomplishment of Nate's scouting career is his Eagle Scout project and all that it encompassed, so I would ask his father, Mr. Peyer, to come up and give a description of Nate's Eagle project.
Nate's Eagle project consisted of 4 benches which could be converted into 2 picnic tables and a fire pit for Emmanuel Lutheran Church, which he dubbed the Fellowship Fire Pit. Nate viewed this project as a way to increase fellowship opportunities within his church. Nate was eager to get started on his Eagle project and knew exactly who he wanted the beneficiary to be, his church, Emmanuel Lutheran Church. Shortly after earning his life rank in November 2019, Nate met with Pastor Erb at Emmanuel about opportunities and needs for such a project at the church. December, being a busy month for the church, they decided to reconvene in the new year. Unfortunately, a global pandemic intervened, and the meeting was pushed off even further. It would not be until March of 2022 that Nate was able to meet with Pastor Tiemann about his Eagle project, since Pastor Erb had taken a call to another church. For this meeting, Nate came with a few ideas: a fire pit for fellowship, convertible benches for outdoor church service and school use, or an informational sign and rest area along the bike path adjacent to the church. Pastor Tiemann, himself the parent of an Eagle Scout, was excited about all of the ideas and was torn between the fire pit and the benches. Seeing this, Nate suggested he could incorporate both into his project. With a project idea in hand, Nate set about developing the project proposal with guidance from Mr. Collar. He researched material quantities, availability and costs, permit requirements, and general logistics, and presented his intended project to the troop committee on the 21st of March 2022, which is also his sister's birthday. The committee approved his project, gave him some things to think about, and provided a few suggestions for improvement. In June, he met with the district representative and received the final approval to begin his project on the 8th of June 2022. Nate's next step was to further develop his project plan. However, summer plans, camps, and college visits pulled at his time, and soon the school year was starting, along with the cross-country season. More quickly than he realized, it was the fall, and the weather was no longer conducive to an outdoor project. It was not until the spring of 2023 that he seriously began planning. Knowing he would need a permit from the city of Crystal Lake for the project, he enlisted his mother's help to put together the required permit documents. Not expecting any issues, he was surprised when the permit request was initially denied. He called the city inspector to find out what needed to be corrected, only to learn that the electronic system had failed to attach any of the supporting documentation. While on the phone, the inspector located the missing files and verbally approved the project, much to Nate's relief. During this time, Nate was also confirming prices with vendors and determining more accurate project costs, and finalized his fundraising plan. He worked with Emmanuel to host a ministry table to share his project with the congregation and accept free will donations. He was astonished and deeply moved by a very generous congregation, raising over $1,000 for the project. While at the table, he was approached by a member with a donation of granite boulders for the edge of the fire pit ring. Having originally planned to purchase the bricks for this purpose, and being a thrifty scout, he saw the value in the donation and gratefully accepted her offer. He was also approached by the congregation members with carpentry experience who volunteered their assistance as well. Next, Nate presented his project to the Knights of Columbus, who also generously supported the project. Finally, he was able to apply for and obtain a Thrive in Action grant for his project. Like any project, Nate's was not without problems and complications. The fire pit, which had to be special ordered and delivered directly to the site, came damaged only 2 weeks prior to the planned installation date. He called the Home Depot, from whom he had ordered the fire pit, and learned the joy of waiting on hold. Frustrated with the options provided by the Home Depot, he contacted the manufacturer directly, who was more than happy to replace the broken parts at no cost. Unfortunately, they would not arrive in time for the build date. Fortunately, they were part of the upper ring and could be installed at a later date. Nate learned the importance of carefully reading project quotes and making some tough decisions to keep his project on budget. Nate planned 3 separate workdays in July of 2023 to complete the project. The first took place at his home and was focused on building the 4 convertible benches. He spent the days leading up to his first workday working on a prototype bench, gaining valuable knowledge, which he then was able to impart to the volunteers. He had 20 volunteers to help this first evening, and with their assistance, all 4 benches were completed quickly in about 3 hours. On a second workday, 12 volunteers helped move the donated rocks from the local residents to the worksite at Emmanuel. With so much help, the work was done in under an hour. On a third workday, the final fire pit and benches were installed. This time, 14 volunteers assisted in removing the existing sod, installing a weed barrier, installing a fire pit ring and blocks, border boulders, and finally installing the pea gravel. All the volunteers were amazing, and everything for the project was completed in about 3 hours. On the same day, the church school was having a playground improvement workday, and they were planning on purchasing some new sod. Nate was able to enlist the volunteers to help move the sod that had been removed so a fire pit from the fire pit area to an area on the school playground that it was needed, some of which was around Will Wickersty's prior chessboard Eagle project, which the team was able to spruce up. A few weeks later, Nate received the replacement parts for the fire pit, and with Seth's help, was able to complete the final pieces of the project on the 6th of August, 2023. Nate, with the final paperwork stages of the project, while the final paperwork stages of the project would take a few more weeks, Nate completed his final Scoutmaster Conference and submitted his Eagle Project paperwork on the 6th of September 2023. It would be a few months until the district reviewed his paperwork and approved him for the final Eagle Board of Review, which was held on the 28th of November 2023. Nate has over 28 volunteers to thank, and there were over 160 service hours logged, not including his own time planning and fundraising. We are all grateful and blessed to have the support of the troop and the church throughout all phases of the project, and hope that it will bring years of fellowship to the church, school, and community.
Thank you, Mr. Peyer. It is now time for the highlights of our program, the presentation of the Eagle Scout Award. Will Pastor Timon, Nate's pastor, beneficiary of Nate's Eagle Project, and parent of an Eagle Scout, please join the candidate at the front to share the Eagle's obligation. The Eagle rank represents proficiency in all scouting skills and is attained by only about 6% of all young men in scouting. It represents a great deal of teamwork as a member and leader of a troop. You demonstrated by living the Scout oath and law in an effort to perpetuate the Scout spirit. It also represents years of hard work, strength of character, persistence, and more important, it is indicative of what lies in the future as a Scout grows into manhood. Eagle rank testifies that a Scout has an understanding of his community and his nation, and a willingness to become involved. It is also fitting at this time to explain that not only does this badge signify his hard work, it also signifies certain obligations on his part. The first obligation of an Eagle Scout is honor. The white in the Eagle badge represents honor, and it is sacred foundation of his character. Character is not what you think of yourself, Nate, but what you are deep inside. It is what you do to reflect credit upon your home, family, church, school, friends, and yourself. Always let the white of the badge remind you to live with honor. The second obligation of an Eagle Scout is loyalty. The blue in the Eagle badge represents loyalty, your loyalty, for without it, character lacks direction. Regardless of how rough the road, how difficult the task, or how impossible the situation, you must remain loyal to your cause and purpose. It is the sense of belonging, being a part of the team, and working together with others. It is standing by your work, your promises, and your pledges. It is also the feeling you give others, knowing that they can count on you. Let the blue of this badge remind you to remain loyal. The third obligation of the Eagle Scout is courage. The red in the Eagle badge represents courage. It gives you the character, force, and strength. If you have faith in God and your fellow men, you are able to face each day unafraid and strive to share in the work at hand. You should do your part in all things, regardless of danger, adversity, or hardship. Let the red of the badge remind you of courage. The fourth obligation is responsibility, and is represented by the Scout motto, be prepared. It means that you are always in a state of readiness, both in mind and body, so you will be able to face danger and help others to the best of your ability. It also means that you have been trained for emergencies and that you are confident of your ability to do your duty as an Eagle Scout. The fifth and final obligation is that of service. This obligation is represented by the eagle. You must extend a helping hand to those who still toil up the scouting trail, just as others helped you achieve your goal. It means that the daily good turn must continue. You must strive to protect the weak and defend the helpless. The eagle also indicates that you are now in elite knowledge that any discredit which falls upon you also befalls your brother Eagle Scouts. Are you willing to accept these obligations, responsibilities, and the honor of the Eagle Scout badge?
Yes, with the help of God, I am.
Remember, your obligations of honor, loyalty, courage, responsibility, and service. Our heartfelt congratulations to you on this very, very special occasion, and our sincere hope is that you may always wear your Eagle badge with dignity and pride. Thank you, Pastor Timon. Will Mr. Ranieri and the Honor Guard please join the candidate at the front? You have made Troop 127 very proud. May the qualities that inspired you to this achievement continue to lead you on to even greater success in your life. The traditions of the Eagle Scout are high. May you live up to those traditions, always guided by the spirit of scouting, represented by these blazing candles before you. The Eagle badge that you are about to receive is symbolic of the spirit of scouting. Mr. Ranieri, please present Nate with the Eagle badge and Eagle medal. Will Nate's parents please join the candidate at the front?
Nathaniel, your parents have undoubtedly been your primary source of help and strength. No one will ever know the unnumbered acts of self-sacrifice from your mother. I'd like your mother to pin an Eagle medal on your uniform. Nathaniel, this pin is a miniature badge of your mother's heart in recognition of her love, encouragement, faith, and trust in your future, and as an outward symbol of your achievement, which she may wear with pride. Nathaniel, in recognition of your father's love, encouragement, faith, and trust in your future, I ask you to please present him with this eagle pin, an outward symbol of your achievement which you may wear with pride.
Will Nate's grandparents please join the candidate at the front?
Nathaniel has chosen to also recognize his grandparents who have been a constant and supportive presence in his life. He would like to thank them for their unconditional love, unwavering pride, their unending generosity, and the unfailing example they have set for him and their families. Nathaniel, in recognition of your grandmother's or grandparents' loves, encouragement, faith, and trust in your future, I ask you to please present them with this eagle pin, an outward symbol of your achievement, which they may wear with pride.
Well, sorry. Finally, we present Nate with his eagle knife crafted by the Buck Knife Company, which memorializes his eagle accomplishment and his eagle neckerchief.
We'll do that later.
Okay. Okay. The Eagle Mentor Pin is given by a scout to those he wishes to thank for their dedication, patience, and interest in encouraging him in scouting. Nate has requested that Mr. Redmond, Mr. Grant, and Mr. Wickersty join him for the presentation of the Eagle Mentor Pin. Nate's wishes to recognize and thank Mr. Grant for the joyful ways he is always willing to lend a hand, for his tireless efforts as quartermaster, and for the countless weeks and weekends he has given to him and the troop in support of their camping exploits. Nate also wishes to recognize and thank Mr. Wickersty for his kindness, constant support, guidance, and encouragement in both Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. Nate admires and appreciates your enthusiasm, goodwill, and the quiet assurance of his abilities that you fostered in him. Finally, Nate wishes to recognize and thank Mr. Redmond for being his scoutmaster through most of his time in Troop 127, for investing in his time, for his patience, guidance, advice, and encouragement over the years. Nate attributes much of his success in scouting to the confidence you instilled in him and his abilities. Your efforts have inspired him to be the scout he is today. It is a tradition of Troop 127 that each new Eagle Scout add a feather to our Eagle Totem. Andrew DeVideo will present you with your Eagle Feather. Please add your feather to our totem and join the long, proud line of Eagles from Troop 127. Nate will now be presented with his eagle handkerchief. Thank you, Will and Dylan. Another Troop 127 tradition is to present the mother of our Eagle Scouts with a framed poem, recognizing her inspirational role in this accomplishment. I will now ask Mrs. DeVideo to present the mother's poem to Mrs. Peyer.
An eagle mother. A fond mother watches her boy where he stands, apart from his comrades tonight, as they place on his camp-battered tunic a badge, an eagle, the emblem of right. It seems just a few short months have passed since he joined with the youngster next door. How proud he was then of his tenderfoot pin, as he told her the message it bore. But the years have gone as he struggled along to learn what the scout law's about. He practiced them daily, the oath and the law, until now he's an Eagle Scout. You may smile in your worldly old wisdom at this and say, why, it's only a pin. But I tell you, no honors he'll gain as a man will mean just as much to him. The red, white, and blue of the ribbon you see are the symbols of honor and truth. He has learned how to value these fine attributes in the glorious days of his youth. In the outflinging wings of the eagle that rests on the breast of this night of today are the things that will lift him above petty deeds and guide him along the right way. Yes, it's only a pen, an Eagle Scout badge, but the heart that's beneath it beats true and will throb to the last for the things that are good. A lesson for me and a lesson for you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. DeVideo. Next, Mr. O'Connell, representing our charter organization, the Knights of Columbus Council 3880. You will share a few words with our new Eagle Scout on behalf of the Knights.
Always a tough act to follow, unfortunately. Congratulations, Nate. I bring you greetings from William Bly, who is the president of the McHenry County, the Notre Dame Club of McHenry County. They are our charter organization. Every scout troop must have a charter group, and they agreed when the Knights of Columbus were basically made a national decision to withdraw. They agreed to step up and have been now for, I think, 4 years or 5 years, our charter organization. So I present you with a certificate in recognition of your achievement of Eagle Scout. Additionally, I'm here to represent the Knights of Columbus, who were a sponsor of your charter or your project. And I'd like to read: the Knights of Columbus Supreme Council congratulates Nathaniel Wallace Peyer for achieving the rank of Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America. It's signed by the Supreme Knight, Patrick Kelly. Thank you. Congratulations from the Knights of Columbus. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Connell. I will ask Mr. Zopp to now come forward to lead Nate in the Eagle Promise.
When we began our program today, Nate, you joined with your fellow scouts in repeating the scout oath. Now you're going to stand here and repeat a new oath, the Eagle Scout Promise. Though the words you say are similar to those you have said so many times before, today they will mean more to you than they ever have. When you pledge yourself on your sacred honor, you'll be sealing your oath with the words which close the Declaration of Independence. I'm going to ask all the Eagle Scouts that are in the room here to rise at this point in time and come forward. Anyone that's an Eagle Scout, whether you're in uniform or not. Okay? Gentlemen, turn and face the audience and back up here closer to me. Okay? All right. At this time, Nate will be making the oath, and with him will be the other Eagle Scouts in the room. Nate, you come here alone, but you're coming into a long line of scouts in this troop. There's a plaque out front that has over 80 names on it of Eagle Scouts. The feather you put him there on the feather tree also has the feathers of 80 scouts, in excess of 80 scouts before you. At this time, we will present the Eagle Scout promise. Nate, would you raise your right hand in the scout sign? And would the other Eagle Scouts in the room raise their right hand and all repeat after me? I reaffirm my allegiance.
I reaffirm my allegiance
To the three promises of the Scout Oath.
to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize
I thoughtfully recognize
and take upon myself
and take upon myself
the obligations and responsibilities
the obligations and responsibilities
of an Eagle Scout.
of an Eagle Scout.
On my honor, I will do my best
On my honor, I will do my best
to make my training an example,
to make my training an example,
my rank and my influence
my rank and my influence
count strongly for better scouting
count strongly for better scouting
and for better citizenship.
and for better citizenship.
In my troop,
In my troop,
in my community,
in my community,
and in my contacts with other people.
in my contacts with other people.
To this I pledge my sacred honor.
To this I pledge my sacred honor.
Nate, you stay there, gentlemen, be seated. By the authority vested in me by the National Court of Honor of the Boy Scouts of America, it is my privilege and pleasure to pronounce Nate as an Eagle Scout. May the oath you have taken remind you of your obligations and remain true in your heart. I present to you all Nate Peyer, Eagle Scout.
Thank you, Mr. Zott. Nate now has a few words to share with you.
"76 nights camped, 80-plus hours of service, 286 miles hiked, 36 merit badges, 10 leadership positions, and 1 global pandemic to be standing here today. As I reflect on my many scouting experiences and memories, I find so many fond, whether it be the laughs at Philmont or just the memories of the Porcupine Mountains and everything that happened. The Ice Age Trail and how that trip almost didn't happen. Or the countless experiences at summer camps. The Grant Pilgrimage, which has always been one of my favorite outings. Or even, back in my younger days, the Pinewood Derby, where I had so much fun building those cars with my dad and making sure those lights were just perfect. But as I reflected, I would be remiss not to mention some key people I'm thankful for. First, I want to thank my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister for always being there for me no matter what, and always having my back, and always being willing to give me a hand. I also want to thank my grandparents, my Nana and Papa, who are here today, and my grandma, who is currently out of town and unfortunately couldn't be here. I want to extend a thank you to you as well for always being there and having my back, and always being willing to help as well in any way you could. I also look back to my Scoutmasters and Cubmasters, past and present. I want to thank within the troop Mr. Redmond and Mr. Ranieri, and from Pack 194. He unfortunately couldn't be here with us today, but I'd like to thank Mr. Lutton for his unwavering support within Cub Scouts. I would also like to thank some of the mentors I had through scouting who were scouts themselves. I'd like to thank William Wickersty, Matt Knopf, Hunter Birkland, Matthew Tremblay, Andrew DeVideo, Seth Peterson, Tyler Zopp, and Dylan Cronin for always being there to give me a hand and always being willing to help. You have been such a great source of enthusiasm for me and have really brought me into the scouting program and turned me into the scout I am today. Thank you. Thank you. But most of all, I'd like to give thanks to all those who helped with my Eagle Scout project. First, I would like to thank Emmanuel Lutheran Church for giving me the honor and privilege of being able to do my project for them and for this congregation I am a part of. There were many kind donations from the congregation as a whole, as well as volunteers of time from the Brothers of the Wood. I would like to invite forward Pastor James Kirk and Pastor Tiemann for a small gift and a sign of our appreciation. Next, I would like to thank all of the 28 volunteers who helped me over the 3 days of my project. Altogether, there were close to 170 hours put into this project, and it wouldn't have happened without these volunteers. As I call your name, please come up to receive a small token of our appreciation, and please stay up here afterwards for a round of applause. Aiden Butler, Dalton Birkland, Vincent Sokola, Mark Fisher, Gabriel Garcia, Scott Lazoya, Seth Peterson, Lauren Peyer, Logan Ranieri, Nolan Ranieri, Trevor Zopp, Tyler Zopp, Mr. Dylan Birkland, Mr. Hunter Birkland, Mr. Matt Butler, Mr. Jeff Dykstra, Mr. Jim Grant, Mrs. Brandy Ann Lazoya, Mr. Dan O'Connell, Mr. Kirk Peterson, Mrs. Kim Peterson, Mrs. Amanda Ranieri, Mr. Dan Ranieri, Mr. Terry Redmond, Miss Tina Shaney, Mr. Randy Jenscht, and Mrs. Stevie Zopp. Again, thank you. You may now return to your seats. Scouting creates memories of a lifetime. Do not let this experience go to waste. To all the scouts out there today, sitting, cherish your scouting experience. You don't realize how fast it's going to go by. Take in every moment and live it like it's your last, because you're not going to have these memories forever. Make them while you're young. Have fun. For everyone else in the room, I will leave you with this. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Mr. Ranieri will now give the Scoutmaster benediction.
Please bow your heads. Dear God, Spirit of life and love, an Eagle Scout Court of Honor marks the end of one journey, a journey of participating in scouting. Now, a new journey begins with the commitment to better scouting where all may participate. Bless all Nathaniel's future endeavors. May each of us be committed to scouting's ideal, which instruct us to lead better lives, to be better citizens, and to be a better example of leadership. May we also seek the obvious and find the unknown. May we always follow our own trails. God be with us until we meet again. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Ranieri. We will now end this ceremony with the retirement of the colors. Please rise. Color Guard advance. Color Guard, prepare to retire the colors. Retire the colors. Scout salute. Two. The Eagle Court of Honor is now concluded. Please join us for fellowship and refreshments. Feel free to view Nate's Eagle Project, the fellowship fire pit located at the southeast of the building. Thank you for coming and have a good afternoon.
In there are 5 stickers. These 5 stickers are so you can personalize your water bottle so that everyone's gift is slightly unique. So do with it what you want. Thank you.
Congratulations again.